joining us right now. As I ended the last segment, the biggest Raider fan I know, diehard, lifelong. Remember, this is a California kid. He may be a big, hot shot, award-winning, handsome, good-looking, well-respected radio host in Houston, but he's California. You cut him open and you count the rings. Yeah, he's a Raider fan. He's a California guy. He's our friend, Sean Salisbury. Good morning.
Morning. How you guys doing? Thanks for the intro. Good to talk to you. And yeah, some diehard Raider fan. I bleed black and silver. The problem is the black's a little dull right now, and the silver's got a little tarnish on it. We got to get rid of some games again, man. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, we were going over this. As you know, obviously, Davante Adams traded to the Jets for a conditional third-round pick, which, judging by the conditions, will stay a third-round pick. And no offense to Tom Telesco, who came in this year, and a lot of this is not his doing. But Sean, I was just going over, like, if I became the GM, and as always, push back. You have no problems telling me I'm full of it. I feel like the move here is to sit down with Max Crosby and thank him and tell him what a stud he is and what a Raider he is. You're paying him $100 million over the next 2 years on the rest of that contract. Ask him for a list of teams he wants to go to. Sean, am I wrong, or is this Raiders team ripe for let's build on draft picks, let's gather them up, let's get on our rookie contracts, and let's really stop treading water and go somewhere?
Oh, Dave, sorry about that. Yeah, listen, while it would pain me, I'm thinking you're suggesting saying trade Max Crosby if you can.
I'm saying full rebuild, and that starts with Max, your most valuable player.
Right. Yeah, that's what I figured you were saying. Yeah, you know what? While it pains me to say, because I'm still a big believer, excuse me, in keeping the core of your football team. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
in keeping the core of your football team, if you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to. I try not to fire sale everything. We see how that works sometimes, where you sign guys, boom, then you're trading 7, 8 of them away, and I get it. The same thing you'd trade Max Crosby away for is that you now would have to go find me another Max Crosby, right?
Right.
So I get it. And very rarely am I a guy on a team that if you got a solid quarterback, you would trade him. And very rarely if your quarterback's a star, that somebody trumps him as far as, well, okay, then I'll trade it. That's the core of my team. Somebody else, not a quarterback. But Max Crosby is the heart, soul, core. He's everything that you want in Ted Hendricks, Phil Villapiano, Howie Long, John Madden, Kenny Stabler. He is Raider. So if I could, because now that I've lost him, now I got to go search for him. But yes, and your part of it, Dave, is you got to go out. That's a guy that would garner a lot of assets.
Yeah,
I do get it. If there was a way for me to work around him, keep him under the frame, and then you're going to get somebody under a rookie contract, so it saves you money. I get it. So yes, the philosophy by you, if you're going to fire sale it, and let's go and build it the way you need to with a first top-ranked quarterback. Do all the things you got to do. I hate to think about Max as a fan, but as a front office guy, makes sense, Dave. So yeah, I think it's time. You got to start to think about that and realize you're just not very good. The talent's not there. A lot of your core is Josh Jacobs is gone. You don't have the quarterback anymore. Carr, who, whether you're going to win a Super Bowl or not, he was part of that core. You got Max. I mean, guys have come and gone, and they've missed on some draft picks. When John was there, they missed on some guys with some flyers on first round. Taking a flyer on a first round pick's not the way to go. That's got to be, if you have done your due diligence, you cannot say, well, what if? My first round picks can't be what if guys. They just can't. And the Raiders have missed. Now, they've hit on some, but we can go over the list, and you guys know the list. They have not dominated when you got to dominate. And then the fifth rounder's got to hit once in a while. The fifth rounder's got to, Brock Purdy, you got to find that guy somewhere. So that's the due diligence of the front office. But yes, Dave, to your question, it's time. Not go and get some high-priced 32-year-old free agent that's got 2 years and you overpay.
That's right.
It's time to get guys like Max Crosby that you can find somewhere in the draft and hope they turn out. And then you got to build it, and you got to find a guy under center who's a grown-ass stud, who is a football-playing Jesse, who when he shows up in the building, everybody looks different, plays different, and acts different.
Sean, on the fact that they did move Davante Adams, felt like they had to, where he was, where they were with him.
Agreed.
What do you think he'll be now, kind of in a new life with the Jets?
Well, Aaron's got to play better, and I'm sure he will. But now, what's going to be the excuse for the Jets now offensively? They got Breece Hall who can run it. They've got the former Rookie of the Year and Wilson who can play. They've got weapons. They had weapons. You just added, got better. See, I'm all about getting better. What's the risk for the Jets? A third-round conditional 2 for a guy who, with Aaron, you know his energy is going to go up, right? Listen, and talk about player empowerment. We knew where he wanted to go, and what's the one team? The Dallas Cowboys could use him. A whole bunch of teams could use him. He got to go where he wanted to go. So he wins the whole thing, and they're paying his whole salary in New York. He wins, and Davante does. But I would expect his energy to go up. I would expect Aaron to have a newfound buzz in that locker room. He's a great player, which now frees up other guys. Even if he doesn't have a great game, what it does for defensive coordinators is make you go, okay, now who we doubling? Now who's the guy? I'm sure Garrett Wilson is going to elevate his play. But there's a lot of things the Jets got to fix that aren't just getting Davante Adams. But they had to do it. Davante wanted out. You weren't going to get the kind of production you wanted from him. I know he's been banged up. Watch how quickly he gets healthy and how things change for him. But the Jets still have a ways to go before the talent says yes. The performance says they got a ways to go before we can count them being a contender again. Yet I had them winning the division. So I'm anxious to see. But I think it's a win. I think it's a good to get some assets for him. You were going to lose him at some point anyway. He wasn't going to come back. You were going to trade him in the offseason more than likely. So I think this is a good thing, and I think it will help the Jets. And hopefully along the line, the Raiders can get better at that position. But the truth is, you don't lose a Davante Adams when he's healthy and playing, and all of a sudden think your roster is better. But for the future, and we are thinking future, the Raiders had to do it.
Sean Salisbury with us. Sean, here's a hypothetical for you. If Cal McNair showed up on your radio show, the owner of the Houston Texans, for our people out here, and he said to you, Sean, it ain't your job to go over the mistakes I've made, and I'll find somebody else to ask these questions. Now, you don't back down from anyone, but let's just be honest. As I said earlier, we can all be Billy Badass on the air, but you have a job to do. Those are big relationships. How the hell do you react in real time to something like that when an owner is basically melting down on your airwaves?
Well, first off, and Jerry and we spent an hour plus talking about it on our show because we are the flagship for the Rockets and we are the flagship for the Astros. And I asked that tough question. Dana Brown, the GMs on my show. He's come on and I've asked him simply, and he respects. I think the fact that having played and been in him, maybe that helps a little bit. That shouldn't be the reason why somebody gives you respect. They give you respect because you have a job and they got a job. I literally asked Dana Brown, why is Abreu getting innings when Jose Abreu was struggling? It was a question constantly asked. He didn't go off on me. It was a tough question that he answered. The very essence of when Jerry said, I don't come on here. You don't come on here and Dick basically talking about the interview. Well, Jerry, and tell me and ask questions or question me. Well, Jerry, the funny thing about it is the very definition of an interview is you're a guest. I am going to ask questions. I'm not willing to. I'll tell you how I'd answer to Dave. I wouldn't have laughed in the background
right.
when he threatened me. But you hit the mic, mute the mic and then do it. I know Sean and RJ very well. RJ we worked together. He was a board op when I was there in Dallas. I love them both. I think they did a good job. This is mainly on Jerry, and I know he's powerful, but you can't back down. Now, I'm not going to respond disrespectful,
sure.
But the same respect Jerry Jones is asking for is the same respect you're damn well going to give me. My dad didn't raise a bitch. I'm going to tell you that now. So I've been in the business 30 years. If I ask a question that's personal and that I've become that guy who's looking for a fight, every right for him to fire back. They are the flagship, but simply by saying what the roster, how do you upgrade it, or why not move on from it? He doesn't have to answer the question. Some of us may have phrased the question different, but there was nothing personal. If it's respectful, tough questions, but fair, I don't have a problem with it. And I said it on the air. My boss would not have walked in, and he's the CEO of all the West, this part of the country division. He would not have walked in. All they ever ask, because it's a partnership, is be respectful. But I lose credibility if I softball Jerry Jones and say, man, Dak played great. You guys look pretty good this week. You played hard. And then the next time I hear a coach tell me when their ass gets kicked that you play hard, my head's gonna explode. I'm gonna throat punch them. Yeah, you're supposed to play hard. That's why you get paid. I don't want to hear it. So with the Jerry, it's not a matter of a tough guy or anything. I would have done what I always do, whether it's Gary Jones, Kirk Herbstreit, you, Dave, anybody. I'd give them respect. I don't have you on to be a softball interview. Otherwise, I don't need you on.
Right.
If I can't ask you what I'm supposed to ask you, why you got to be on? Now, all the stuff that goes on, and he's been on every week for years now, I would have handled it like I would have handled anything, professionally, but firm. I would have, and didn't call Jerry, he doesn't want it personal, but he called him a yahoo?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yep.
So, now my job is to give the listener and ask the questions that people need to know the answers to. I didn't tell Jerry he wasn't doing a good job. I would have asked the tough, hell, my questions would have been tougher than that. Is Dak Prescott making your players better? Is your run game, is Zeke Elliott worth? I would have asked them, but I would have handled the smirk and all that or the laugh in the background. But I don't think Jerry gets to threaten my job. I bet I'm just as good at my job or better at my job than Jerry is at his. And well, I think I can do his job better than him right now too. But I wouldn't have said that on the air. You get my point.
Yeah.
I'm asking questions. My job is to ask tough questions and not softball you. And I will never softball a guest. If my boss says you're not allowed to ask tough questions, I either won't have that guy on or I'll work somewhere else. And that is the facts with me. But yes, I can see how it would intimidate because he's got power. And then he threatens that he's going to remove me from my seat because I asked him about his personnel. Yeah, I would have a major problem if I was a host, but I still wouldn't have attacked him or made it personal. I would have made it professional and fair. Unfortunately, Jerry Jones did not do that in that interview, yet he's asking for the same thing from them. Oh, hell no. I'm a grown-ass man, and you don't get to treat me like I'm a 15-year-old person that's afraid to death of you because you're power. No, professional and respectful. And he was not any of that on this interview.
Sean, one last thing on that, too. What is wrong with this team? What's wrong with the Cowboys?
Well, they can't run the ball. Their protection's not anywhere near what it used to be when the Cowboys would win, even post Troy Aikman, when they had Romo and when Dak started there with, Teron Smith and that group. They are getting beat and defensively in times they haven't gotten beaten in some of the past. They changed defensive coordinators. I like their defensive coordinator. I've known him a long time, but they've lost something with Dan Quinn and energy's missing. And I'll tell you this. I've said all along, I'm a Dak Prescott fan. He's a good player. He gets you to the playoffs. He's not getting you to February under the current roster. But Dak Prescott and a great guy. And you know what he got? Don't get mad at him for getting his money. Jerry paid it. Blame him. He asked for it, and they paid it. Here's the problem with Dak Prescott. Dak needs great players to play great football. Look at what Brady did with Chris Hogan, with Jabbar Gaffney. Now, he had some great ones, but when they left, he still kept them winning. Look at what a guy like C.J. Stroud's done. Nico Collins goes out. Joe Mixon's out until this week. They win. Guys, there's different quarterbacks who elevate the room and make for what I don't know what that recipe is. I know it exists though. Dak Prescott can't win with average players. He just can't. He'll win some games and look good sometimes, but the great Elway was great. He elevated his team, got him to Super Bowls, but he also needed help. And when Terrell Davis got there, he made John better. So certain quarterbacks and players, Josh Allen is elevating Buffalo. Every friggin' week he's making them better, and they don't have that many weapons. Cowboys got as many weapons as Buffalo does, and guess what? Dak can't do that. Dak needs running game, protection, 3 receivers, a solid tight end. He does not take you and take a 6 and make him an 8. He takes a 7 and makes him a 6. And I like him. He's a good player. He can't win with decent players. He has to have great players to be successful.
Last thing for you, Sean. Of the 3, GM, head coach, or national, ESPN style broadcaster, when you get one of those 3 jobs, is there any one of those you wouldn't still come on with us for? Like you'd be like, yeah, I'm too busy.
There's 2 things I can promise you in life.
Uh-huh.
And this is that I know we joke a lot. I'm telling you this right now, and I mean this sincerely. First of all, you can only play so much golf and the rest of it. I don't care if I'm a head coach, a GM, a broadcaster, or any of those things. If I make a commitment to come on, which I would, I got 15 minutes in my day to talk to people that were there when I was sleeping in the back of the truck. So I would never, ever let that go. And I think I could do all 3 of those jobs, but not at once. I don't want to do all 3 at once, but I would never not be on the show. And the second thing is, if I won $5 billion in Powerball, I'm still getting up at 4:30 or 4 or 3:30 in the morning and coming to my morning drive radio show. I might just be I might take a few more vacations. That's all.
You tell Jerry Jones to go blank himself. That's for sure.
I would have no problem doing that. Listen, I don't need money to do that.
That's true.
I'm a grown-ass man. Screw that, okay?
You're the absolute best, brother. We appreciate you. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the owner's egos. So we'll
yeah, there you go. Egos are flying everywhere here, brother. Appreciate you.
All right,
Thank you.
Take care, Sean. Talk to you next week. Excuse me, that's Sean Salisbury. As we go to break, it's funny, we had a group text going. You mentioned the Jaguars.